to another episode of Off the Bench Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 42 of official Off the Bench Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Y'all go ahead hit that like buttons, comment, subscribe. Make sure y'all go get the audio platform streaming now on Apple Music, Spotify, on all audio streaming platforms. We can catch us on there, but you on YouTube. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe, man. Request a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. Trying to hit that 500K subscriber goal. So y'all make sure y'all keep hitting that subscribe button. This episode, if y'all don't know, the NBA season is finally winding down and coming down to the end. It seems like this season kind of, I wouldn't say it went by fast, but I wouldn't say it went by too slow. But we down to the last final game tomorrow. Everybody got their last game. Uh, with that being said, with this last game being played, excuse me, the discussion we'll be talking about the top five teams under the most pressure coming into this playoff postseason, and we also gonna talk about the top five contenders who I think gonna be the top five title contenders also coming into this postseason. So we got a couple different things to talk about. So we're gonna get right into it with the number one team under the most pressure heading into this postseason. To me, it got to be the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers right now, they're currently the fourth seed right now with a 51-29 record, but since 2019, acquiring Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, they were supposed to be in this powerhouse, and brought this Clipper and get them out of the shadow of the Los Angeles Lakers and do all these things, and and hopefully bring a championship. But they've been together 5 years with PG and Kawhi. They only been to the Western Conference Finals once in 5 years. They never been to a finals. And this season they picked up James. They got James Harden. You got to add another Hall of Fame player. You got to rush. You got him adjusted to his new bench role. He been succeeding in that role. So I feel like they got all this type of pressure. When they got James, they struggled early. Then they went on a little run. They went on a 20-4 run. Everybody had them as the number one threat to the Denver Nuggets in the West. So I think right now, with this being um they're going into a 6 year with Kawhi and PG with this experiment. They on the verge right now playing the Dallas Mavericks in the first round. They is on the verge of going out and losing the playoffs in back to back years in the first round. So they definitely on the clock right now. So the Clippers is my number one team under the most pressure coming in to this season. Number two, I got the Milwaukee Bucks. Currently they is the second seed in the Eastern Conference with a 49-31 record. But coming into the season, there was a lot of frustration growing with Giannis that he kind of told that the organization, and you see, they end up firing Mike Budenholzer, who end up, bringing that city their first ever championship since, however many years. They end up firing him. Giannis, he wasn't happy with how they went out last year in the playoffs, so he came out. He didn't do all this. He held off on signing the extension, fired Budenholzer. He ended up bringing in Adrian Griffin midway through the season with Adrian Griffin having a 30-13 record, being number two seed in the Eastern Conference. They end up firing him. He grew frustration with that. Then you end up bringing in Doc Rivers, and he ended up bringing a 17-7 record, barely being 500 with them going on a 3-game losing streak, losing to the Wizards, Memphis Grizzlies, and the Portland Trailblazers, which is unacceptable. Especially going heading into playoff season, you picked up a player like Damian Lillard, and in the offseason, you acquire him for Drew Holiday, making a trade like that, making a splash and upgrade that you felt at the point guard position that ultimately can help Giannis get over that hump and success over the playoff. To get him the type of player or type of stardom that Giannis felt like he needed to be able to keep him in Milwaukee. So you bring a player in like that, is definitely high expectation to be able to get it done. And it's already been rumors that 2021 finals run that the Milwaukee Bucks was kind of fluky. Things had to happen in their favor, and them end up playing the Atlanta Hawks in the Eastern Conference Finals. Trae Young getting hurt, and so they've really felt like it's been a cakewalk, and ever since then, they really haven't found too much playoff success outside of that 2021 postseason run. So it definitely is pressure on them to be able to make at least a Eastern Conference appearance this season, bare minimum. Anything other than that is definitely a failure. Well, really, anything other than a championship with Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo is a failure. But if you don't get to that bare minimum, the ECF, You definitely got to chalk it up and see what you got to do in the off season. Next coming up, I got the Boston Celtics. Number one seed in the East by far. Best team in basketball, 62-18 record. They've been to four straight Eastern Conference Finals since Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown been there. They never have not been to the Eastern Conference Finals. They got one finals appearance to show for all that I just said. It's time for them to get it done. This team right here, this is probably the best team that Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum been had in their Boston Celtics era. They've been dominant. They on a historic regular season run right now. So it's definitely pressure on them to be able to have this type of talent, this type of team, and them being the clear cut favorites in everybody's eyes coming into this postseason, especially in the Eastern Conference with them being weaker. Julius Randle having the season ending injury that he had given to the New York Knicks, and we look at even I said the Milwaukee Bucks with the got the number two pressure on it. With even though Giannis did go down with an injury, I don't know how serious that is, but just in seeing if he might be ready to go for the playoffs, but. You still got the 76ers still with Joel. He been in and out the lineup. He just went out last game with another injury. So don't know if he gonna be 100. So the East is definitely wide open, for the Boston Celtics to be able to go to the finals and be able to win this year. And I say it's pressure on them because, like I said, they've been to four straight, five straight Eastern Conference Finals, one finals appearance. This is the best team that they had, and clearly everybody knows this is the best team in basketball, record wise, regular season wise. They've been on a historic run, offensively and defensively. But they gotta be able to get it done. If you don't win this season, now you got to start asking the questions when. And I understand. I seen LeBron James, and he was on the JJ Redick podcast saying that obviously you got to give Jason Tatum his flowers for accomplish a lot of things at a young age that a lot of players didn't accomplish. Like I said, being to four straight, five straight Eastern Conference Finals since you come into the league as a rookie, you have not been no lower than the Eastern Conference Finals. That's hey, that holds you to a high standard. But in the same breath, with LeBron saying that he didn't win till he didn't got to this age or this age, some of the greats didn't have the type of team that the Boston Celtics had at his age that Jason Tatum had presented himself now. With this type of team, you never could say that about any other team outside of what, not even maybe outside of Kobe when he had Shaq. LeBron when he came into the league, he didn't win a ring until he got with a better team. You know, KD didn't win a ring till he got with a better team. Steph didn't win a ring till he was probably the only one that you can mainly say, but his team was still a little bit better when he got a little bit older. But in the same breath, it's at what point in time is we gonna be able to say, hey, the Celtics just need to go ahead and get them a ring in what year? If it ain't this year, I don't know when. You just extended Drew Holiday for a 3 4 year deal, 135 million. Going into next season, the second tax apron gonna go into effect. You still got to pay Jason Tatum. You just paid Jalen Brown all this money. You just gave Drew Holiday all this money. You gonna be paying Kristaps Porzingis 30 million next year. That's gonna kick into effect. Obviously, Derek White, he gonna be up for a contract extension very soon too. And like I said, Jason Tatum, he gonna want 60, 70 million a year. So you definitely gotta if this is the year to get it done, this is the time. Next up, number 4, with the most pressure on them heading into the playoffs is my team, the Phoenix Suns. Currently the 7th seed, looking in the play in spot, one game behind New Orleans Pelicans and on that 6th seed, 48-33 record. Obviously they've been dealing with a lot of injuries. With Bill being in and out the lineup, he missed 29 games this season. With Book being in and out the lineup, so what he missed 14 games this season. Kevin Durant been fairly healthy this season, but you just been able, for some reason they just been able to make it click on a consistent basis. You feel what I'm saying? It's just been like they never can be able to string enough consecutive games to be able to catch a rhythm, to be able to make it you can really trust and understand who they are as a basketball team. But I just seen them beat Denver twice. Seen them beat Denver without Devin Booker when Denver was fully healthy. Seen them on the road go and beat a Denver team where everybody got Denver as the number one, contender, obviously in the Western Conference. You beat them twice on the road. You beat a Minnesota team who's fighting for a number one seed in the Western Conference. You beat the Dallas Mavericks who been on on the tear. So I just seen them be able to win a game, win these high leverage games, win against good playoff games, good playoff teams. I mean, it just on a can they do it on a consistent rate to show the consistent effort on the defensive side of the ball to be able to take care of the ball, on a consistent basis to win 4 out of 7 games against elite teams, not in just one playoff series, not two, but 3, 4 playoff series to be able to get over that hump. They definitely under the pressure. You got when you form a trio like this with this type of scoring ability, with that type of offensive firepower that you have, you're gonna be under enough pressure. B Book, KD, Bill, hey, you got to get it done when it's time for the postseason. And number 5, I don't know where I could really go because I really would have had the 76ers on this list, but Joel, he is injured, so I really can't put too much expectation on them. Um, so so I went with the Lakers for my 15 with the most pressure for the simple fact that they're the AFC right now, 46-35. And you had this record in the offseason. You could have fooled me. Everybody done told me that they didn't have the best offseason by any team by far. By far. They did that with Austin Reeves. You done kept him on the minimum deal. You kept Rui and you brought in Gabe Vincent and you brought in Vando. You brought in all these different guys. You brought in Cam Reddish. You brought in all these different guys just for you to be the A seed and for AD to be fairly healthy this season, only missing 8 games, what we haven't seen from AD in these past several seasons. You know, for them to be the eighth seed and with LeBron getting older, his legs starting to wear out and all this, with LeBron age and the type of where do you go? It's time for it's win now. You don't win this season. With next season, you still got Memphis coming up. Ja did miss a fair amount, a chunk amount of the season. Even when he did come back, he had the injury, so we'll catch him. You know, caught a fair share of games, but you still got Memphis on the rise. You still got OKC, who fighting for the number 1 seed. You got all these young teams that's coming into effect. You still got these other teams that's still better than you. So with LeBron getting older, you definitely have to win this year or the next year. So I think they will be my 15 going into this postseason with the most pressure heading into this season. So number 1, I got the Clippers. Number 2, the Milwaukee Bucks. 3, Boston Celtics. 4, Phoenix Suns. 5, the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, to slide into the next topic, which would kind of be a little bit similar as my last, it would be my top 5 title contenders. On the other hand, heading into this postseason. Now, the number 1 team that I got for my title contenders is the Boston Celtics, for the simple fact that the Eastern Conference is weaker than it ever has been. And the Boston Celtics, they've been on the tear this season, on the historic run. Everything that I dispute in the last segment is, I can put them as number 1 right now. They're just head and shoulders of the better team of everybody in the Eastern Conference. Um, I feel like they have the best player in every series, whoever, no matter who they play, and the player like Jason Tatum. Um, and I just think they just got the best team in basketball overall that they didn't showcase us this season, that you can be able to put them on that mountaintop this season. So I have to say they will be the number 1 favorites heading into this postseason. Number 2, the Denver Nuggets. You can't deter from what they are and the type of team that they is, how they play together, and the type of continuity they are. The well-oiled machine offensively. You have to be able to match offense with offense whenever you play against a Denver Nuggets team, and the type of team how they create so many different problems, and with them having that type of now championship experience and that type of that championship run, they got the DNA now. So and now they had a formula of how to win and when to cut it on. And that's the scary thing about the Denver Nuggets now, that you gave them a little bit of that taste of how to win, since they went through it last year. They was always been on a little cusp of 2020. The last time Jamal Murray was healthy, they was in the Western Conference Finals. So you definitely got to give respect to the NA, the reigning defending champ. So you got to give respect to the Denver Nuggets. So the next team, you know, as my top 5 title contenders heading into the postseason. Number 3 team is the Dallas Mavericks. Dallas Mavericks, they've been on the tear since the trade deadline. Then the trade deadline, they went the front office. They made some wonderful moves to be able to improve around the edges and improve in areas where I feel like they definitely needed the most help. They went and got two. They went and drafted a big already coming into this offseason, Derek Lively, who succeeded expectations and kind of can play off Luka and Kyrie and kind of mesh well with how Luka want to play, given that type of live threat, that that vertical threat where it can be able to sprint from baseline to baseline, be able to set screens, pick. He don't really need the ball too much in the post. He can just make things happen, be able to give him a long, athletic, rim protector, shot blocker. But with him being a rookie, you did need somebody else to be able to, you know, uh, play those backup 5 minutes or be able to be that starter five and let him play a backup five whenever it come postseason time. And I like what they did with that trade deadline with picking up Daniel Gafford. The starting center he was for the previous team before getting acquired from Dallas Mavericks. He was playing for the Washington Wizards, and I definitely like that pickup because, like I said, they needed somebody who would be able to be a live threat, a vertical threat for Luca and also Kyrie, to be able to somebody who can just rim run, sprint in front of the top of the rim, be in front of the rim to be able to drop it down, score under there with ease, open up the lane and open up the game a little bit more for Luka Doncic and Kyrie. Make it a little bit easier on them on the defensive end. And they can kind of clean up a little bit of the mistakes that Kyrie and Luka and the perimeter defense of the overall standpoint from the Dallas Mavericks. They can clean a lot of that up with that verticalness, that lengthiness, and being able to be a vertical threat to be able to play just above the rim. They's 18-7 since the All Star break. They've been seven in defense since the trade deadline, since they acquired Daniel Gafford, and obviously getting Derek Lively back. They also acquired PJ Washington as well, a forward, a wing player that they desperately been needing over these last desperately needed since they traded Dorian Finney-Smith. So you add another a wing player that can be able to stretch the floor, to be able to shoot the three, to be able to put the ball on the floor, to be able to exploit mismatches at from that wing position, being that 6'9", 6'10" frame. If you switch a smaller defender on him, Luca, he's smart enough. Yeah, smart enough point guard to be able to manipulate that type of coverage and be able to exploit that all night. So they're definitely a dangerous team. They third in opponent's field goal percentage, seventh in defense. Like I said, since the trade deadline, they've been seventh in offense. So they got a top 10 defense, top 10 offense since the trade deadline. Like I said, they've been clicking right now. They got currently it's the fifth seed in the Western Conference. Hey, when you got Luca, you pair that with somebody with Kyrie in the playoff setting, that definitely scary. And when the way they've been playing heading into this postseason, they definitely rolling right now. They definitely one of the hottest teams in the NBA. That's my third team right there for my title contender. Number four, I got the Phoenix Suns. Like I said, that trio, Devin Booker, KD, Bill, can cause a lot of teams a lot of problems come postseason time because you're gonna have to be able to keep up with the shot making while also still be able to exert a lot of energy on the defensive side of the ball to be able to make the game a little bit harder and a little bit more difficult where they won't be able to score 25 to 30 points efficiently. You let them get 25 to 30 points efficiently, it's gonna probably be a maybe a 6 game at best series, and I'm giving the respect to teams. But if you just let them sit up and just be efficient, you're gonna have a long day. You're gonna have a long series. You're gonna have a long night. I'm not gonna lie to you. So they pose a lot of different threats. And like I said, I didn't watch a lot of ball this year, and I didn't see who they are when they be whenever they locked in. It's just a simple fact with them. Can they be able to string multiple games and be able to string it together for multiple periods of time? It's just the main thing with them rebounding and taking care of the ball. I understand with the fourth quarter woes that they've been having all season long. They've been one of the worst fourth quarter teams, in basketball, and which kind of been frightening and scary, in considering that they had this type of team that they have with Devin Booker, KD and Bradley Beal. Why is they so bad in the fourth quarter? But it all stemmed down just to turnovers once again. But I just think in the game that like I said, that they showed that they've been able to win against these playoff teams coming the regular season. They showed that they can be able to beat you by, if we don't turn the ball over and get a shot up every time, it's gonna be very hard for a team to beat them. So that's really gonna come down to with the Phoenix Suns. But I definitely think with that type of firepower that they have, last year they didn't have the same type of team that they have last year, and they took 2 games. The only team that took 2 games off the defending champs last season. So, and that says a lot. And their team is way better this season than last season. So they definitely can cause a lot of people problems. Like I said, whoever face them, if they are a playing team, or whether they get into that six seed or not, whether that be determined tomorrow around 4 o'clock. Everybody play at 2:30 tomorrow, so that'll be still be determined what's going on. Yeah, so the Phoenix Sun would be my fourth team heading into the postseason, top five title contender. Number five, I got. See, once again, if five, it can be numerous different teams. Milwaukee Bucks, but I don't know what the status of Giannis right now. Because I say if Giannis healthy, they definitely can make a deep run, a postseason run with Dame and Giannis. Obviously, just the type of scoring and the type of dominance that they can bring to opposing defense, opposing teams, and the type of matchup problems that they can scheme that is gonna bring a long series for Giannis coming downhill. We obviously now you got Dame out there to be in the type of prolific threat from outside from the D ball and be able to stretch the defense out. So cause a little bit of problem, but with his status being up in the air, I can't kind of but then I want to say I could put the Clippers right there as well. With James Harden, with Paul George. If Kawhi is healthy, you still don't know if Kawhi gonna be healthy for the first game of the postseason. He done missed the last what 5, 6, 7, 8 games. He won't be playing in the last game tomorrow. So you just don't know with the Clippers. You just don't know with the Bucks. Uh, so my fifth title contender, and we just talking about right now. You know. Heading in what I know of if who's healthy right now. And I gotta say the New York Knicks and the New York Knicks, they've been a team that been steady, been an even kill all season. And I know that Julius Randle injury do kind of hurt them a little bit, but they still been able to play some very good decent basketball over that stretch while Julius Randle been out. Jalen Brownson, he definitely took that All NBA type of leap that the New York Knicks needed him to be. Being that lead charge, and they just got high level role players over there around him. The guys that know their role. You got guys like Josh Hart, who's 6'5", and you look up, he got 15 rebounds. Real life. He got more rebounds than the opponent's the centers. So he got 15 rebounds. You got Dante DiVincenzo. He having a career over there shooting the ball. He getting about 3, 4 threes a night. You know, OG Wananobi, him acquiring him before the trade deadline, bringing that wing defender that you so desperately needed that RJ Barrett couldn't provide. So having that type of that different aspect, and obviously you just got back Mitchell Robinson, get him back into the fold, the type of live threat, the type of rim protector, shot blocker that he can bring, the versatility offensively and defensive end, the type of rebounder that he is. So you definitely needed him coming back. And I definitely just think, the type of basketball, the last game that they played, the Boston Celtics, they put a butt whipping on them. So they definitely is a capable team of being a dangerous team. They just play so together. You know what the New York Knicks stand for. They're going to play grit and grimy. They're going to make it a little bit of rough on you. They play a little bit more physical brand of basketball. So having a type of score that Jalen Brunson that he been this year, and I think the type of basketball that he been playing, he just in rhythm right now. He look locked in. He gonna be, and I think his game gonna be able to translate come postseason time. He not gonna be one of those players that just having one of those regular season runs, regular season success. I really think that Jalen Brunson, that this is the Jalen Brunson that we as custom. The last time we seen him in the playoffs with the Dallas Mavericks was, what was that 2021, and you seen what he was doing without Luca. He gave you 41 in the game four and the game five against the Utah Jazz to be able to extend the series and ultimately winning that series in 6 games. Jalen Brunson, he did that. He averaged like 15, 16, 17 points a series. So Jalen Brunson, I would now him being the lead guy and being the being the number one player on the team to be able to lead them. I definitely think that New York Knicks, they can make some noise. I definitely wish Julius Randle was here. They definitely would make my this case a little bit more better to get him a little bit more offense with just in case. Obviously, playoffs is a little bit different. You play a team. You got to beat a team 4 times out of 7. You get to 7 games. You know which both teams know what each other doing. You know everybody moves, schemes, and now it just come to chalking it up and it come to shot making to be able to skill, will, the heart, and shot making. So at the end of the day, once you put up all these schemes and double teams and you throw the house at Jalen Brunson, because you really just gonna live with anybody outside of Jalen Brunson being you if you the New York Knicks without Julius Randle being out there. So that would probably be the only scary thing about it. But at the same time, we done seen crazier things happen. I done seen last year that the Miami Heat they won two playing games. They didn't beat the number one seed in the they did beat the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. They came and beat the Knicks in 6 games. They beat the Boston Celtics in 7 games, had them down 3-0, and went to the finals and took a game off the Denver Nuggets. So I done seen crazier things. So you definitely can't count him out because Tom Thibodeau, he gonna have him ready to play. He gonna have him playing physical. He gonna have the type of schemes. Uh, it just gonna come down to is Jalen Brunson gonna have enough help to be able to get over the hump against these other teams like a Boston Celtics, like a Milwaukee Bucks. If if Giannis Antetokounmpo is able to, good and ready to go. Can't even count the Miami Heat out. We know what type of team the Miami Heat is coming into the postseason time. No matter what their regular season record is, last season, like I said, they with the 10th seed, last final spot into the play-in. They won 2 games. AC went all the way to the finals. Historic playoff run by the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat also been to the Eastern Conference Finals 4 to 5 years. So and out of what two or three of the years they didn't been in the NBA Finals. So you can't count the Miami Heat out with Eric Spoelstra over there. He gonna have them boys ready to play. Arguably the greatest, the best coach. I ain't gonna say the greatest, but the best coach currently in the game right now. Shout out to Pop. Arguably the greatest, him. But pound for pound, you got to give Eric Spoelstra his credit and the job that he done over there with Miami Heat, with the lack of talent that he also had. But I just think you come into playoff time and the level of play from Jimmy Butler that you're going to get. Hopefully that Bam Adebayo can take him another leap that he can play at the same type of level that he did in the NBA Finals, and you get that, you pair that with Tyler Hero. Now that he's finally healthy, that's really what I feel like the Miami Heat been missing. That these couple of postseason runs is a player like Tyler Hero who can be able to make shots and create problems put pressure on the defense. Be able to be that 3 level scorer. Be able to create his own shot out the dribble, off the bounce. You don't really need to run plays for him. He can be able to create a little bit of his own offense and do this and that. Having him, then also acquiring a guy like Terry Rozier during the deadline, I definitely think that was a low key matchup that's gonna be they're gonna show his value come playoff time. A big shot taker, a big shot maker who not scared of the moment, a 3 level scorer as well at that guard position. To be able to, where it can just take this pressure and stress off Jimmy, where he don't have to be the primary shot maker or primary creator every time up and down the floor. So yeah, you got multiple different teams that I can go with at 5. You got the Miami Heat, if healthy, the Milwaukee Bucks, if healthy, the Los Angeles Clippers. So those would be my 3 teams heading into the playoffs. My top 5 title contenders: number 1, Boston Celtics; number 2, Denver Nuggets; number 3, Dallas Mavericks; 4, Suns; 5, however you want to slice it, Clippers, Bucks, Knicks, however you want to slice it. I think this will conclude episode 42 of Off the Bench podcast, man. Once again, if y'all stayed this long and tuned into the episode, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Y'all head over there to the audio streaming platforms as well to go and get it a listen to as well. Apple Music, Spotify. The audio streaming will be over there on them services as soon as this drug upload on YouTube. Make sure y'all turn your post notifications so you know when it drops, so you can head over here on YouTube, or you can slide to Apple Music, Spotify, where you can go stream that on the audio platforms as well. And I'm gonna catch y'all next time on Off the Bench podcast. Don't forget to make sure y'all leave a like, comment, subscribe, and catch y'all next time.